Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rational Investors. What is this? Our weekend frivolity. The Broiler Chicken Show. Back. I thought it was kind of funny. I ran into some layman there a week or two ago, and I was trying to teach him the secrets of trading. What a knucklehead. What am I, stupid? Anyway, I felt empathetic for the guy. What was fascinating was he asked me, oh, yeah, you do YouTube thing and all that stuff. And he went to the web page, the YouTube page, and he goes, oh, you only have 6,000 followers. Oh, well, okay. Whatever. I don't care what you have to say. I thought that was so funny. What's fascinating about what I do and watching all of you is this stuff works. I mean, it is the secret. It was fun sitting listening to Grim. Just preaching the gospel today. I mean, it's beautiful. You got Shark Toshi in there, who's like, that guy's next level anyway. You got Griminator there, total next level. I mean, these guys are just geniuses. Peter, I think, is coming along really nice as a TA. Sure hope Kevin's doing good out there in the world. These people are so smart. They're so good. They're so perfect. I mean, these are the people you want to follow. Oh, they're just so excellent. Kiran just killing it in level 2. I think Kiran and Daniele are actually building out their own website, and they'll have like a private advisory service or something along those lines. I think actually I see Julian. Yeah, there's Julian there on the call here today. Wow, it must be the middle of the night for you. But if anything, we need to have a meeting with them to sort of figure out how we fit all this stuff together moving forward. But Kiran doing a great job in the level 2, just being a killer instructor. And so cool to see Murat. I just sat in one just listening to the conversation on Friday. So next level. And the cool part about it is we got this new crop. We got a whole new crop of level 3ers that are all chomping at the bit. Waleed sitting at my kitchen table trying to haggle my house out from underneath me. Bastard. Getting me to write options. But we have really a really lively group coming up here in the wings. A whole new wave of TRIers that going to turn OG, make me proud. Coming up on their tomb. I guess we started the level 3 a week or two later this term, but I think if I understand correctly, level 2ers are just rocking it. In fact, are level 2ers, somebody can confirm with me, are you into the DI scripting and stuff? Did I see you guys talking about that? I mean, I'll tell you, you have an absolute gift with Shark Toshi. So I don't know whether that's this week or next week, but man, what a treat you have with him. And of course, we got Sjord working like a dog here, trying to get this platform, this dream of Brian's, the DI, alive. And I'll tell you, man, we're pretty damn close. Never been closer. Oh goodness, tough. I did notice, I don't know whether any of you out in the world, it's about, it's interesting. There's a good 1,000 people or so that watch this video on a daily or weekly basis. So I don't know how you're doing through this, but actually this would be an opportunity. Let's say, because I noticed that, number one, I think YouTube actually got enough negative feedback about these silly downvotes. And remember how Brian used to freak out about all that stuff? That actually, I think they got rid of that, which actually I find very encouraging, because now you don't have to worry about it. Look, if you don't like this shit, just don't listen. I know Brian's a nut job, yeah. I'm not asking you to listen. This is free. Edutainment, the whole thing. If I say, in the next 2 hours, if I say 30 seconds of something that you've never heard before, that maybe it gives you some sort of edge in the marketplace if you're an aspiring trader or even an investor, right? Maybe, try and buy at or below where insiders in the company are long. That's not a bad idea. Maybe you've never heard that before. Hey, write that down. Then actually I think that it's actually worth putting up with an hour and a half of Brian's nonsense week in, week out. it's your job. What are you saying? Something about seasonality. I just wanted to give a shout out to the equity clock people. I thought this was great stuff. And yeah, I actually have been tweeting out quite a bit of stuff. I was a little emotionally triggered by, I'm a tennis kind of person. So the story about that country and that tennis player, I'm not going to touch it. It's a powder keg just waiting to go off. So I won't go there. But I did try and sort of counterbalance all that with some content on my personal Twitter feed. And if anything, I've told you all this before, and I really like this direction with TRI. This is TRI, right? It's super, super important for you to understand this is Brian Beamish. He's a bit of a nut job. He obsesses about, sort of the dark underbelly of capitalism, sort of watching, and of course, comments about totalitarian dictatorships, yada, yada, yada. But this is, this guy here. This guy here, I'll say, Random Task. He is the reason why I actually did this whole damn project over the past 5-10 years. It's people like this person. So proud of this guy. So utterly proud of him. It's like people like Sjord and Julian trying to really, lift these people up, because you are actually the future. This guy's the future, especially in Canada, in my country. This guy's the future. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to name names or anything, but I would not be surprised if this guy's actually like running. He's a serious position running Canada in the future. As well as, too, it's kind of funny, this guy as well. Like, this is Canada's future. I'd really do yourself a favor if you're Canadian. Get to know these two guys, like Alex and Colin. So proud of these people. Anyway, I'm a bit of a nut job. Remember, I'm sort of getting old and set in my ways and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'd like, TRI went out of its way, if I can show you, went out of its way to set up this TRI feed, and I really like this. Like, this is what TRI is. It's its community. I really like that. And I gotta say, the guy who's running this TRI feed right now, he has the ability now to sort of pick and choose Brian's rants, right? You don't have to just sit and listen to Brian's rants. You actually just get the good stuff, which is good. I like that. It works really well. So do yourself a favor. If you are following me, or if somebody told you to follow me, right, I would strongly suggest that you grab a like, grab a share, grab a follow, however this works, this TRI PMA feed. And just do it. So, this Sunday's show it's a bit of a ad lib on my part. I suppose I don't really need to do this, but I do like, the idea of, just the level 1 program being insanely redundant. The one thing that really worries me about these kind of programs is, and we saw it happen in 1718, is that, every few years, probably, usually it's sort of like the business cycle. So every about 4 or 5 years, you go into sort of a face-rippy kind of moment in the market. And then every once in a while, you get actual generational cycle pivots, and prices can just get absolutely thrown into absolute chaos. And and obviously you get massive price appreciation. And unfortunately, it's through those times that, the public, not knowing and just being the beautiful sort of innocent humans that they are, they come in, they were like, hey, I want to participate. I want to get rich too. I want to drive my Lambo, right? And unfortunately, half of the capitalist system is feeding into that frenzy and taking advantage of those people, selling courses on how to make $1 million in crypto and stuff when prices are going crazy. It's dangerous because, unfortunately, I come from the financial planner's perspective. I do understand crypto definitely has a role, but at the same time too, You've got to keep everything in balance and be well diversified, the whole thing. So it's dangerous because we are in one of these kind of windows. It feels, because of the insane overstimulation to the economy, because of all the sickness kind of stuff. We are in a very vulnerable place where we have price inflation, repricing of the assets. Of course, Brian and his banksters theory and all that kind of stuff. I'd argue that this was already pre-planned, and it was just, let's take it. How does Close's line go? Want to take advantage of a bad opportunity? Something. How does it go? Somebody help me with that line. I mean, you all know the story, God. You hear me say it repeatedly. So we all know that the world was swimming in debt. There's no way that the world can grow going forward. So how do you get out of that situation? Either you force the people that borrowed the money to pay the money back. Banksters, no way they're ever going to pay that money back. It's gone. So if that's the case, then how do you get out of this situation without the whole system collapsing and moving to a completely different monetary system? You inflate the old problem away. So, if you had 100, just simple numbers, if you had an economy that was $100 million and you had $100 million in debt, that's a 1-to-1 sort of debt to GDP, not sustainable. If you go and instantly dilute the currency, dilute the economy, so now the economy is not $100 million, it's $1 billion. You didn't technically go and spend any more money. So that old $100 million in debt, well, now that's only 10% of GDP. Yeah, well, that's kind of cute. Hey, I like that accounting. There's one problem. That is, everything else in the real world doesn't work that way. You can't just fugazi the shit away. And this is the number one reason why they always said, never, ever, ever buy Greek paper. Because this was always the Greeks' solution out of their monetary woes through the whole Cold War. They knew that there's no way that the West was going to let them fall to the communists. So at the very end of the day, there was always a backstop. So all they did was they just kept devaluing their currency. Every 10, 20 years, they'd go and spend way too much money. Debt to GDP would go crazy. How do we deal with the problem? Dilute the currency. Right? So now the debt's only 1/10 the size. The only problem is, your loaf of bread, it was $5. Now it's $50. Everything. House, you hear me bitch and complain. I can't buy a house for my son. Because they are inflating the debt problem away. The only problem is house prices go through the roof. So, so sad how it's an interesting commentary. And thank God I'm only 50 years old. Technically, I still got maybe another decade or two. But we're all going to have to get used to the new money system. I don't know where the end of it is. There might be another doubling here in prices, folks. You don't know. And in fact, when I listen to all you crypto kids, there's a very real expectation that Bitcoin's probably going to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Which would imply, and this is the thing, this is what kills me. And it's interesting that we're going to do the TRI tweets here, because this really does... I stumbled upon this morning, and I couldn't believe it. I almost fell off my chair when I saw this. And I don't know why I haven't seen this before. But this is literally the price of our beloved Bitcoin, but divided by the dilution effect of the currency. You often hear me barking about these charts. What's real and what isn't? This is scary. All these assets are priced in the diluted currency. So to see the difference between the diluted and the not diluted, that's this image, right? This is the not diluted. And this is the 1930s. Actually, this is not the not diluted. To show you the not diluted, it gets crazy. It's there. This is the diluted versus the not diluted. This is so hard to explain to people, and it's such a shame that they've done this to us. But in essence, here is that WM2NS. Right? So this is just the Dow Jones Industrial Average, just a regular price, just priced in US dollars. US dollars solid and it's secure. And the reason why stock prices are going up is because, of course, earnings are so wonderful. Companies are making so much money. Workers are so productive. Everybody's making a profit. And we're all doing really, really well. Right? Isn't that why stock prices are going up? Isn't that how capitalism's supposed to work? Or am I missing something here? I mean, I'm being a little bit sarcastic. If you polled the average person in the world, I don't care what country you're in, and you say, what's your quality of life? What's your standard of living? How's things been going for the past 10, 20 years? Is life better or is life worse? I can't imagine anybody saying life is better. I can't. I don't know where you'd go where if you ask them what's life like versus like 10, 20, 15 years ago, they'd say, like, I mean, I'm talking standard of living and all that kind of shit. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there are parts of the world that are better, but I don't know of any. Anyway, so the point of the matter here is this clearly isn't reality. Something is going on here. We're not feeling this optimistic and this positive about life. And the reality is that they just keep printing more and more and more of these things over here that this is denominated in. And ironically enough, these companies, they have a balance sheet, they have earning streams, they have theoretically solid income base. They have enough money to pay the bills. They see earnings are coming in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, ironically enough, a company itself, like, a Walmart, a Procter & Gamble, a, Tide laundry detergent like that, that's not going anywhere. It's just, I'm a company and I sell Kellogg's cornflakes, whatever. So, ironically enough, as they dilute the currency, the price of it has to go up just to stay the same. And that's what's going on here. Is basically, I don't think the value of the companies is really changing a hell of a lot. And, ironically enough, and I don't know why I didn't clue into this earlier. It's so bloody obvious. It's staring me at the face. I must have missed something. I swear, half the time I swear I'm going through this world in a fog. But it turns out it's the same damn thing with corn. I'm sorry, guys. I know you all want to go, no way, man. 1 Bitcoin, it's getting more and more and more valuable. These Bitcoins, they're just the intrinsic value of these things is rising on a day. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going on here. And in fact, I would actually say this is exactly what the image should look like at the end of the last fear cycle and transitioning into the next greed cycle. The problem is here, of course, is we've got this silly US dollar that's losing its value, and it's getting to be like it's like an exponential basis. So you're going to have Bitcoin go racing up to new highs, 100,000, 200,000, but then these sons of bitches go, well, now we got to do a $2 trillion repo. $2 trillion, fuck it. Let's go for $4 trillion. $4 trillion, why not 8? Since we're here, let's make it 16. Might as well. Right? So Bitcoin goes 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, 800,000, 1.6 million, 3.2 million. It's the same logic. I mean, this is the interesting thing. Somebody was asking me here today, what does this mean? Like, what the hell's going on in this world? And the irony of it all is that I think Satoshi, and is it Satoshi or is it a whole bunch of guys down in the basement of a CIA office someplace and George Bush cronies, all that kind of stuff, which I think it is. But I think that they saw this exponential rise in the U.S. Dollars issuance. They saw it coming. There's no way out of this crazy politicians, just by definition now, do not have to tell the public the truth. I don't know whether you realize that. Let me say that again. Democratically elected politicians in our world do not have to tell the truth. So how on earth are we going to make any kind of economic sense out of this if that's the world that we live in? And I would actually make the argument that really you should have seen this coming 100 miles away. And like the people that built Bitcoin, and what a coincidence, it came out right at the very end of George Bush's tenure, when they knew full well that they have completely gutted the U.S. financial system with the whole housing debacle crisis. Lost another loan to Ditech. If anybody remembers that guy, man, he was on TV 24/7. And the king of cars. I mean, just total nonsense, fluff economy. I guess that was basically the peak of the American empire. And I remember in the ghettos and stuff, everybody had to have their Cadillac Escalades. I don't know whether you remember that. It was remarkable. It was like, through the ghettos, people were driving these, like $75,000, $100,000 cars. It's just nuts. So anyway, but what I find fascinating about this image is that my whole thesis is that our society itself moves in 35-year cycles. And into the very end of these 35-year cycles, there is a mass lack of confidence in the system, as you new millennials, of course, lose all faith in this case, it's going to be the baby boomers, and the baby boomers are going to be moved into retirement, and we now have to sort of figure out, what does this new 35-year cycle look like? And I think that's what we're figuring out right now. I used to joke with students back in like 2000, Julie and I've been doing this site now since 2014. Oh man. But I remember I used to joke with students back then, watch out. Economies usually don't do too well during years of 8s, 9s, 0s, 1s, and 2s. What do you think, everybody? Are you going to write that down now for the rest of your life? Mr. Great Del Moody writing the user's manual on how to trade from these weekend shows? And I even told somebody in this crypto feed, they're like, Brian, I take your course, and, it's just so expensive, I can't afford it. And I said, dude, you know what, just all you got to do is just watch these videos. What you got to do is you just got to invest the time. Put me on 2x speed. And the interesting thing about that is you put me on 2x speed, I'm one of these kind of guys that you can still sort of understand what he said. And if you are really patient and you're really hungry, but you're poor, right? That's what I would suggest you do. And if you can do that, then you'll make it. You will. If you got to go flip burgers for 6 months, work for the man, go cut lawns. My roommate here, he got into the landscaping business. He needed work. I mean, damn, Vancouver's an expensive place to live. And he just did the shitty work. There's Julian saying he cut lawns. Right on. I was really impressed. Andrew? I mean, Andrew's a fucking baller now. He's in there with those people. He's talking about going to Miami. It's so funny now. He's got to get vaccinated right now because the ballers, they want to send him all over the world and shit, and he can't fly anywhere without getting vaccinated. All of a sudden, anti-vaxxer? Fuck that shit. I want to go to Miami. I love it. Way to go, Andrew. You are the man. But I was just blown away by this image. I honestly expect Bitcoin will be 100, 200, 300, 500, $1 million down the road. Why? Because they've let this genie out of the bottle, and the only way to solve it is you have to just keep issuing more paper. There's no way back now. We are on this course, and the question ultimately is, does this go the route of Weimar Germany? And I think the only reason why Weimar Germany scenario happened was because there was a realistic alternative to the German paper, and that was the Americans. So I don't know. The issue here is, I think very easily Winnie and the gang could have stepped in and been the leaders of this new world order. Had they sort of followed, best practices. But I get the distinct impression that China is in just as bad financial situation as everybody else. They've borrowed just as much money as everybody else. And I, frankly speaking, at this recent summit, I actually got the impression from it, the tone I got from it, was that China and the Chinese leadership are a little bit desperate right now. And they're a little bit worried. And what happened to the what was it called, the wolf diplomacy and all that shit? All of a sudden now, old dear friend and all that kind of stuff. So something has shifted over there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, you shake it. I guess the main message that I would give of this kind of image is, I don't necessarily think Bitcoin's actually in a new, secular bull market. I think we're still trying to deal with, and of course they're going to wrap the whole thing in the sickness, and it's a great scapegoat, just like I said with Klaus, perfect sort of cover to pull off this sort of repricing. At the end of was the Second World War that cover then? Maybe. But I definitely feel like there is some sort of Bretton Woods event here that needs to happen. Once that does happen, we actually have a clear idea of what the future is going to hold for us all. My hunch is a lot of this kind of price volatility that we've seen actually would probably come out of a lot of these commodity markets as we sort of work our way further and further into this growth cycle. But that doesn't happen. Like the last one, the gold bull of the 1980s and actually 70s. Where do I have that? Got it around here somewhere. Well, this is actually the adjusted base. I don't know whether we'll show it. No, it won't show it. But anyway, this was the peak, and interestingly enough, the commodity market, I remember this specifically, in the early 1980s, the Americans were absolutely in love with a TV show called Dallas. And 1981, 82, let's see if you guys can remember this. It'd be really interesting to see if you can actually remember this. What was the number one line on everybody's lips in 1981, 1982 America? Who shot two letters? And what was that all about? It was all about a TV show that was all based about the oil barons and the oil aristocracy of the United States of America. So it's fascinating that even though we already know that the oil market peaked about 5 years prior to that, American society was still very much wrapped up in that sort of commodity world, even 81, 82. And I remember specifically, I was living down in LA. You could really feel that the floor fell out of the commodities bull market when the S&L crisis played itself out. I remember that through 82, 83, 84. The Ronald Reagan broke the back of the air traffic controllers trade union. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of wage debate here coming up here in the next few years, and whether the right wing can break the back of that. And then also, too, I remember specifically in like 1985, 86, the oil market broke in earnest. So, and then that was, and remember, energy always leads everything. So when that broke, that was the end of the commodity bull. And we went into that sort of, it was a really, really nice low inflation, bull market there into the end of the century. We're not in that environment anymore. Think if anything with regard to interest rates, we're in the kind of environment where we're going to go back to normal. That's probably going to be the sort of theme of what we do here. All right, I do a lot of this, and my apologies, blah, 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 blah. So let's head on over to the Q&A document. That's what we're supposed to be looking at here today. Hopefully, I've spoken to this image. Somebody asked me in Twitter, this person here, can you explain what this means? So I actually see the same thing with the stock market. You're going to see prices rising higher. And we see that in the stock market. The irony of it all, this is exactly, if you're watching this video for the first time, this is where you're going to realize that Klaus and people like Klaus are actually taking advantage of you. And they're trying to tell you to do something to line their own pockets when it's not really in your best interest. What do I mean by that? Is, this is what the real stock market is doing. This is our value play. And I think, Bitcoin's going to look, its chart's going to look a lot like that. And interestingly enough, I don't know what the hell this means this thing does. It's scary. But I think, unfortunately, Mr. Benner, and I always pull it up. So if you've watched the recent videos, go look on the Twitter feed. And of course, Shark Toshi, he'll probably post Mr. Benner's image there in the lounge. I'm sure we have it in the library. Anyway, he says 22-23 should be kind of a down year, and I kind of like that thinking too. I think you're going to have the Fed actually try and get sort of control of this a little bit to a certain degree, which might mean, like stock market-wise, we brush up against these highs, and then we roll over. That, to me, seems perfectly logical, and that's the same thing that I think you're going to see on Bitcoin here. Is that on this sort of diluted basis, you can see that high, that high, that high, that high, that high. That was our recent high here recently. I think we're going to play around with this level. I don't see any reason why not. I don't know whether we really accept above this level and we head to new highs. And like I said, stock market, it accepts above here and we head to new highs. I'm not ready to buy that. I think the Fed's going to quash this bull before that happens. And I think that'll do nothing more than try and calm this down. So the problem here, though, is you can clearly see the market is going parabolic. You want to see something to really freak you out? Technically, we should be doing foggy buggies off of these levels to try and figure out where upside objectives might be. And since the market's going parabolic and we're in this hyperinflation mode, I noticed that things like lumber are starting to catch a bid again, which scares the hell out of me because lumber is, it's the key component of these damn houses. But really, there's no reason why we can't be thinking Foggenbaum off of this breakout here, which is saying that, we got 40,000 there on the Dow here coming, and interesting, right into this cycle peak here. I don't know. You see how far this has moved in the past year? Maybe we have some sort of insane blow off top here. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But what I will say is, as Kiran sort of tells us in his little videos and stuff with the market summary, as long as this thing's painting higher highs and higher lows, I'm not the one who's going to step in front of this. Holy crap, no. And then that brings us to the cord. I don't know what the hell this is going to look like. Does anybody know? It's crystal ball sort of reading. But, the Fed has told us, all right, was there specifically a question that you had, Julian, that you were here to have answered? Yes, I asked in all chats. Oh boy, what did you say? Can you answer me M2 versus M1 supply, please. I'm not quite sure what the question is. Well, the issue there is they changed the reporting of this recently. So the Fed themselves, I think they discontinued the reporting of M1 and M2, the classic way they used to do it. And they're just the difference between M1 and M2 is the sort of total deposits outstanding, with different forms of money. You can Google the textbook definition. It's not that difficult to figure out. But with regard to something like TradingView and why this WM2NS, as I said, the Fed themselves, they actually changed their rules of how they were going to report these money supplies recently. So M2 reporting change by M2 Fred. Yeah, so there's M. So probably your best bet is to read into this kind of working here. So before May 2020, M2 consisted of M1 plus savings deposits. Time to build deposits. So there's the difference between M1 and M2. Beginning May 2020, M2 consists of M1 plus small denominated time deposits, IRA and KEO balances at deposit institutions. So, whatever it is here, looks like it's a difference between okay, so M1 plus small denomination time deposits, so this was savings deposits before, less IRA and KEO balances at deposit institutions. So there's the small denomination time deposits that was there. So it looks like it's something to do with they changed the savings deposits added in here. So it would be interesting just to break it apart. Yeah. So that would be sort of my answer to you. I can't remember the exact definition difference, but it's probably it's just buried in here. If you just broke this apart. And then I think what I've also noticed is that they have this funny M2SL reference now, which is I think the data point that they actually they publish. So there's the old vintage series. So savings are now more liquid and part of the M1 money supply. So it looks to me like they've taken some money that was out of the M2 money supply and added it to the M1 money supply. That might be a pretty good definition there of what's going on. So savings are now more liquid and part of M1 money. So that might help you maybe read through this. I know. Edward says he'll make something for you, Julian. So there you go. So if anything, it sounds to me like you and Edward have something to talk about on your Thursday show on the site. Cool. So Julian's going to talk M1, M2 money supply on the Thursday Baby Powder Report. Okay, so back to my crazy ass rant. What I've heard from a lot of people over the past, say, 6-8 months is they expected the economy to go absolutely bananas here into the end of this year, and I think that's exactly what's happening. Whether it be the stock market, we said, and I made reference earlier to this image, try not to let Klaus steal your hard-earned money away from you. And though, ironically enough, the way that he's going to steal it away from you is he's going to encourage you not to own stuff. And just let him own everything and let the stuff, the actual ownership of hard assets, homes, cars, clothing, whatever, industrial machinery, the stuff, leave that to Klaus and he'll just charge you a nice rent. I think that's the story that's going on here, which is kind of tragic. Cash, I don't see a bottom in cash just yet, although I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do start seeing a move to cash when the Fed is like, okay, we've inflated the economy enough to the size that we need. Then they start cranking up the short-term interest rates. And the rule is, let's see if anybody on YouTube, this is a good one for Great Del Moody. What's the rule of when we should start to think about the stock market breaking after Fed starts raising interest rates? I'm going to fill my coffee up. Let's see if any of you ever listened to me over the past 7 years. Tell me what the rule is. All right. Did anybody answer? Just ice. Ice, ice, baby. Doom, 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 doom. Nope. You guys aren't even answering my question. Yield curve inverts. That's not bad, Colleen. There's actually a rule. It's really, really simple. No? No one? All right. Well, anyway, write this down. 3 steps and a stumble. So, usually the market won't break until we start to see the Fed has raised interest rates at least 3 times. And that causes your yield curve to invert, Colleen. So, ironically enough, usually yield curve inversion happens with rates around 2, 3, 4%, sometimes as high as 5% if it's a really, really hot economy. So, we're nowhere near that, and that means that, if anything, we have to actually start expecting the only way that we're going to get the Fed to really raise short-term interest rates is if the currency market really starts falling apart and they have to defend the currency and step in and defend it. I don't think any of the currencies are at that point. In fact, I might even argue that the US dollar index itself is very strong here. So as a result, there's no need for the Fed to even think about raising interest rates to defend the currencies. Where's the US dollar? In fact, David Eisner, our marketing god, he, and if you can figure this out, dude, please, because I cannot get these messages across to these people. It drives me crazy. But he actually pointed out that your beloved Brian, he actually turned uber US dollar bullish and said where the US dollar was going to turn back up here. Right through that darn Jupiter-Saturn cross, right on the nose. And I'm still, oh, look at that, 96. Actually, I think my call options are in the money now. Mind you, I got the UU piece, and I think it's 26 is the call. Let's see where we are here. UUP 25.75. So I got the 26 calls. So there I am. I still got till January. But this was my trade. I totally called that perfectly. Of course, nobody's going to give me any credit for it. Oh, well, what can you do? But as long as the US dollar index looks like this, the Americans aren't worried about them having to defend their currency in the marketplace. If anything, it's the exact opposite. As long as you see an image like that, the Americans would actually encourage the international people to come and borrow as much money as possible. Interestingly enough, I don't, like a country like Canada, man, they've literally sucked the life out of this country. I mean, the way the prices are so damn high here for everything, it's just ridiculous. If I had my druthers, the only reason why I'm still here in Canada, of course, is because of Liam. But I'll tell you, man, if it wasn't for Liam, there'd be no reason for me to be in this country. This country's ridiculous. Where the hell's the damn... Maybe it's 6D. I've told you guys this before. I think Canada's a short, which of course is very dangerous. You never really want to... It's like saying Winnie the Pooh sucks. It's kind of asking for trouble. Oh, come on. I get these damn... D6. It's one of these. No, that's not it. Damn it. So frustrating. 6D. One exclamation. Are you going to work? No. Okay. Frustrating. 6C. Oh, they changed it to C? I thought it was D. Oh, well. Alright. Brian's crazy. That to me looks like it's got trouble written all over it. I wonder if our harmonic people would go boom, 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 boom. That's close, eh? I'm surprised that didn't get up a little bit higher. Anyway, when I look at this kind of chart, this chart gives me vertigo. Scary. I don't know. It's entirely predicated on whether, and I suppose it's an interesting commentary. Had Mr. Biden got what he wanted, they would have rammed through 3 or 4 trillion in new U.S. long-term debt, sort of guaranteed by U.S. citizens. They've only been able to do like $1 trillion. So you might find that the world economy starts tipping back over because they need more liquidity and more money. Remember, like I would argue that the reason why that last stimulus, remember that guy, shouldn't we debate our mortgaging our kids' future? Shut the fuck up, that guy. Why that happened when it did was because Airbus actually defaulted on, I think it was like something like a $300 billion line of credit or something like that. And the Americans had to do like an emergency swap, and that's why they were so crisis about that event. And it had to get done, right? And so who cares about what citizens of the country actually think? So, I don't know. We might be heading into one of those kind of events. And, through that event, that was right in here, right? I mean, you can see the Canadian dollar itself, same sort of thing. It was basically falling off a cliff, right? So, shouldn't we debate our future, mortgaging our kids' future? No. Justin Trudeau needs more Barbie dolls. What? Oops. All right. More Barbie dolls for Justin. Because that's, I think, how he did his he was a substitute drama teacher. Okay. I won't go there. Anyway, you can see the whole damn risk market, everything all lifted here after the Americans went and bailed out the world. So, do we go out and M out again? You can see what happens when M's come in. I mean, it's a long, slow grind of death kind of thing, right? But usually the end of the move is some massive puke out. And I've said this before, that really this should be probably, I hate to say it, but I think this is going to happen just about 1 year from now. So mark your calendars. Like next fall, I could easily see a scenario like this next fall. Not this fall, but next fall. Alright, so... Man, I'm all over the map here. What's so bizarre is I just get talking and, man, the time slips by so quickly. I got Liam to be thinking about here, so I can't dawdle. Looks like only a couple questions, so that's good. Make this nice and simple. So, what's this? What is block trading? Well, that's just like, especially when I have my little VCIM rollback stocks. When a stock or an issue just gets so much outstanding and so heavy, And the trade itself kind of is dead. You'll start to see the issue act in a very sort of specific type of way. Where's the best way to... Well, I guess we can do it here. Actually, I think that little POS that I'm buying recently is a good example. Actually, maybe... I wonder which one's the best one to show you. I mean, a lot of these little junior ones, they do this. I think this little piece of crap I'm buying here recently. So here's where this story, the story was old, and you can see from one bar to the next, it's a huge move. Well, in reality, they probably rolled the stock back, and so comparatively speaking, back here, yeah. So comparatively speaking, there was lots and lots more stock out. So a move from here to here actually would have been a whole bunch of trading. But they consolidate the stock, roll the price back. So, like on the old stock, if there was like 10 times out, that might have been like 55 cents, and that might have been 90 cents. And there's a ton of trading all through here. But you roll it back, and so in hindsight, it looks like this block trading. So that's a pretty good example. There's sort of old sort of block trading. You can see from $5.40 all the way down to $2.89. It just ping pong back and forth like that. Well, no, it's just that this is the rolled back stock. So, and this has been rolled back a few times. So looking back in hindsight, that's how the price action looks. So this one here, they had a bit of block trading. You can kind of see through here. You see, I mean, it goes from like 30 cents down to 20 cents. So that's like a 10-cent window. That is just back and forth, chong, 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 chong. Well, no, because they rolled the stock back. You can see. After they rolled the stock back, now it's this fluid, back and forth. Yes, it's a bear market, but at least it's back and forth. Prior to the rollback, though, look at the way that this is moving. And this is what we call block trading. You kind of don't want to come in and try and trade these kind of things through here, because you can get chopped up here. This is a very, very long period of time where basically the asset's moving. What is that? Yeah, that's basically about 30-40% just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not really doing a hell of a lot. I'm not, we don't have any W's here yet. Maybe, let's show you one where a W has come in and how it looks following that event. I think this one's actually a good example. All right, so, old stock, don't even really know what the story is. Boom, rolled it back, new issue. So now we've got a little bit better looking trading. It's a little bit cleaner, right? Back and forth, wicks and tails, the whole thing. And, ideally what I love this kind of scenario, roll the buy, stock back, nice double bottom, and away you go. Nice and simple, nice and clean. Just going to hold on to it, wait for the gap to be filled in. But old stock, there's that block trading. Now this is that clean new stock. This one's probably another one. I try and step in on these things after the rollback so you can see the block trading here. So here, in this case, this is 75 cents, and that's 25 cents. So that's a 50-cent move in just these funny little candles? That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's block trading. Really, this thing's not trading. It's the rolled back stock, so that's how it's got to be expressed. So, and you can see in through here, much more fluid, much more clean. So hopefully it helps answer that question. The rule simply put is don't buy stocks that are block trading. As simple as that. And it often is a sign that if you see block trading, we're probably coming up to a split or a consolidation soon. Just leave it alone. Keep it on your radar screen. As soon as they roll it back, it'll start trading fluidly again, and then you can get involved. So I hope that helps. In last Wednesday's daily brief, you mentioned the term. I noticed a lot of ECIM plans I come across the block chart patterns, and I am here to say, yeah. So hopefully, what I just said there explained that. Usually once a rollback happens, the new structure it starts trading fluidly again. The BTC M1 chart is quite terrifying, and I can't wrap my head about it fully. Well, that's a word. Does it mean that 60K now should be something around 10K in 2018? In terms of total money supply? Why didn't the price of regular goods change this dramatically? Why is it so different compared to M2? Right. I know that they don't like to use M1 because it doesn't contain as much of the money supply, but I guess the M1 has recently changed, so that must mean that things have changed dramatically in the reporting. What would be the best way to do this? So let's go new. No, this is an interesting one. The level oneers were kicking this around this morning. I gotta say, man, like if I could come in and bought this thing off of that double bottom there, oh my goodness, that's a very, very good looking idea right there. That's not a bad place to have some money working, because the actual trend line, it looks like you should be able to get a double just on a revisit back to the trend line here. I thought that was kind of interesting. And really, somebody came in here and bought some. I thought on the weekly chart, that was a huge volume buying bar there. I was pretty impressed with that. This is an interesting looking name. I don't know the story, but gee whiz. These kind of names, it's interesting. That's not a hallmark of a market top. But at the same time, too, we could get a nice little rally into this market top, into here. Of course, the public comes and buys here, and then we do stuff like that, right? So can you get like a free trade established through here? I think so. But that's not the sign of the end of the bull market. That's a sign of, if anything, this looks like a big triangle. Then all hell's going to break loose and we do something like that. So I'm a bit perplexed by how a lot of the market is looking like this. We should have a nice little window here. And then, and I'm kind of thinking, if anything, this makes sense, Super Bowl, that kind of thing here. But actually, I'm not, got off topic there. Sorry about that. Anyway, BTC M1. M1 SL. So let's see what we got when we do that. So you guys are all watching this and officially freaking out. Well, same thing I kind of thought before. I don't understand. What's the difference between this M1 SL and the M2? What am I missing here? Who asked this question? Are you still here? Dash. Is Dash finally coming back to life? Fuck, man, we've been waiting forever for that damn thing. I don't know what this one thing is here, but gee whiz, it sure looks interesting. Can you do M2 now and compare them? Let's go like that, and then we'll go like that, and we'll go BTC divided by M2. M2 money stock. A lot of people that are doing this thing here, the WM2NS. M2 money stock. I'm not quite sure. I guess we'll do both, see what happens. There's M2SL. Oh, looks like the same thing. So we can go like, I don't know, like a weekly chart. And a weekly chart. It's pretty similar. Remember, they just said that they changed that M1 and shit, right? M1 and shit. Okay, and then let's go for fun. Let's go down here. We'll go BTC M1. And do they have that WM thing? Yeah, there it is. WM1S. Boom. Come on, baby. All Alright, so there's that. So that looks like basically the same. And then we'll go BTC divided by M2, and we'll do that WM. Where's the W thing? There it is. WM2NS. So that's that. Alright. Oh, interesting. Okay, so. Oh, no, that's interesting. Yeah, this is okay. So this has me confused. So I just did print this right earlier, and that's that one, and that one. That old high has not been taken out, but there's WM2NS. It does have that high taken out. So, riddle me this, Batman. Which one's right and which one's wrong? This is M1. This is M1. Oh, there's the problem. Let's try that again. BTC M2. M2 money stock. That's that. Ah, there we go. Okay. So, this looks pretty the same, eh? What are we missing here? So my little comment there earlier was erroneous. Not interesting. So what the hell did I publish earlier? This is M1NS. Ah, fascinating. So, what is it that's included in M2 that's not included in M1? And that's all the deposits? So we've got M1, WM1, M2, WM2. That's probably a better, let's go copy chart image, and let's go riddle me this, Batman. Who's correct? Oops. Copy, paste. There we go. Looks like BTC did go to new highs. Just Brian's a bit high. Something like that. Boom. So that's interesting. And what is the difference? And I think the difference is the M1 number has been dramatically increased and the M2 number has not. Is that how that works? Wonder why that would look so different. Fascinating. So, I think, on balance, this is what I put out forever, and then I saw this image this morning, and I was like, wow, really? Is that for real? So it turns out actually, it's not for real. This is what everybody's working off of. Interesting, although that really isn't no difference with that WM versus M. I thought there would be an appreciable difference, but it doesn't appear to be. They are not even correlated if we look closer. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So Brian stands corrected. If anything, it's probably good that we make sure that that's nice and clear. Yeah, I think this is the question I have. What is it about that M1 that hasn't changed? What is it about M2? And if anything, I think it makes sense. And didn't you guys post an image earlier that showed that M1 went up dramatically relative to M2? Something like that. I seem to remember who had that. I thought I saw something like that earlier. Is that this? Why don't we can go. Where was it? I thought I had that up here somewhere. Actually, FYI, everybody, on the dashboard in the library, we used to have it was a fairly lengthy video done by this guy on bankroll management. But unfortunately, the video died. It was probably like it was just too good that he was like, I don't want that out in public anymore. So there's this cute little one. It's about a minute and a half or so. And he just does a nice little overview of the 5% rule from a poker player's perspective, which I thought was really cool. Sharktoshi shared that with the level 1ers this morning, so I threw that in the library to replace that old bankroll management video. Not a bad little video for everybody on the site to take a good look at. Did M1 money supply change? Image. Did the M1 money supply change at all? So this must be what's going on here. So the M1 money supply did go up dramatically. So M1 money supply has increased by 55% since February. So I don't know why this isn't being shown through on the M2 money supply data. There's M1. Year-to-year percentage change has gone absolutely insane. So this is, I think this is your reason why. But I don't, I'm not that good of an economist to explain what the fuck is going on here. And why doesn't M2 do the same thing? I don't know. What do we got here? M1 and M2 year-over-year change in money supply. So this is a rate of change, though. So I don't know whether look how old this is. So I don't even know what the fuck that is. So clearly there's something going on. Like I said, the M1 exploding higher. Why is M2 not exploding higher commensurately? I don't know. That's a good question. It would probably be a really good person to ask, and just to hear the answer would be that Bond King guy. Just see what he has to say. He's probably got a pretty good answer. But that's interesting. Yeah, there's M1 again, right? Clearly, this is what's causing that distortion in those two images. And I don't know who's right and who's wrong. That's the scary thing. So there's M1 again. Interesting. So M1 in 2009, coming out of that malaise, it also, I suppose that's the beginning of QE. You could argue 1991, 92, I remember coming out of that recession. That was, read my lips, no new taxes. And you can see what the market did into that move. That was a pretty big move up. All right, that was 800 all the way up to 1200. So that's about a 50% increase there. 1980, I suppose there's, I suppose this is 82, 83, 84, right? I remember air traffic controllers, all that kind of stuff. into its cycle peak, 400 up to 800. So it doubled there. So, ironically enough, actually, what I think is going on here is it sucks to see the parabolic nature of it here in the short term, but it looks like after every recession, and I think they're going to paint this COVID crisis as our sort of recession du jour, they have to go and basically double the money supply. That's what it looks like to me. And we've talked about this before, right? 100,000, 200,000 Bitcoin, $50 loaf of bread. I think that is what's going on. How this works with M1 versus M2, honestly, I'm not that smart. I don't know why this is so appreciably different, to be honest with you. I can't understand why this looks like this. And our recent move up here is not being reflected in M1 because of the massive increase in M1. So I can understand that. Why M2 is not moving up at the same time, I can't explain that. If anything, it almost looks like the big change here was this point right here. Right there. That whatever happened right here. So notice the price of versus M2, it did move up dramatically here, but here all it did was it just came back up against old highs, which says to me that there was a massive increase in M1 through this period, where in M2 the price did go up, but versus M1 it did not. Commensurately, right? All it did in this period was, and you can see the consolidation. There's the consolidation there. There's that consolidation there. So, honestly, I definitely think that there is something going on here. But to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm just going to give you a totally straight answer, I'm not smart enough to know what the fuck's going on here. I'm not. But I definitely say I think there is something going on here. I'm just not smart enough to know what it is. Which sucks, horse cocks. But at least, hey, I'm not going to bullshit you here. So, all right, moving on. It's the best I can do. If anything, maybe why don't we head off to Julian? Yeah, Julian will have the answer. He's like a Boeing engineer. He's way smarter than I am. So, BB, why do you use M1 with BTC and M2 with stocks? Well, and as I sort of said there earlier, I think I had done that versus M1 as sort of an accident originally. But I think we've stumbled upon something here. Julian, please show a chart of BTC, USD, M1, and M2 and explain why they're different. There you go. So we'll just have to wait for Julian's show on Thursday to get the answer. So everybody stay tuned. And if anything, what a perfect dovetail to our school program. Perfect. Actually, I hope, and it's actually fascinating. You would have thought this week was all about using the Williams percentage R indicator, and my highly modified Williams percentage R indicator to give us readings of overbought and oversold in the marketplace. You would have thought that there would have been a question or two for Brian about that, but nothing. Just goes to show, man. I don't know. It's very scatterbrained of late myself. So sure hope the students are getting good value for the education program. It's a tough one. Take the time now, guys, right? Go back and look up tons of examples of these momentum signals. Try and see that sort of, we call it a Hollywood Nick 4 or 5 years ago for this guy Nick who was out of Hollywood. That was on the site. We named the setup after him. Then we changed it because a guy from South America really liked it, and we called it the El Tangonator to reflect him. I don't really care. We can call it anything you want. I like to call them different different names to sort of give them like personal appeal, and slightly images brought to mind make it a little easier to remember stuff. But the point here is that almost all of especially my day trades, I'm noticing too. Like what I see is I like Monday to Friday to be looking at things like crude oil, S&P 500, Japanese yen, gold for 4-hour horizontal support and resistance levels. You guys have heard me talk about candle body highs and lows for trade location. And then when we come into those levels to drill down to like a 3-minute chart and just hunt L Tangonators off of those levels. It's such a simple trade setup. It works so nicely. So get good at that. And that's a day trader's vocation. You want to be a day trader, you can apply. You want to be a swing trader, you can apply. You want to be a position trader. It doesn't matter. You can scale up and scale down. Anyway, so that's my conversation with you level 1ers this week. It is interesting that we had a question here about my Bitcoin versus M1 versus M2 that I put out this morning, and I have to say the only thing that really sort of jumped out at me was I did this chart and I'm like, now that seems really odd. Why on earth did this not break out through the top here? So maybe there must be something that specifically happened right on, what is that? Interesting how that's December of last year. Because remember we had, that was the Jupiter-Saturn cross event. That was the insurrection. That was the sort of the climax of that big cycle pivot as far as I'm concerned. That was the main event. So, I don't know what happened here, but something clearly changed. Now, it's interesting how recently we're going to new highs and we're going to new highs. So, whatever it is, it looks like we're back on schedule with these. It's just something changed right on this particular event window. And like I said, that was... And what specifically happened 1 year ago? Did they do another... Interesting. So they distracted the whole nation, the whole country, with all that political nonsense. But I think the emperor pulled something off in the back rooms through that same event. Make sure the public is super, distracted by all this political and racial stuff. No offense, please don't be insulted. But I think that's what happened, and in the back office, they pulled something off here. That's what it looks like to me. That's about, unfortunately, as far as I can take it. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. All right, not many questions today from the level 1ers. I thought it was really cool. The level 3ers were sort of going through and doing after we sort of introduce everybody to where's the best place to show you this? Introduce all the students to options. The level 3ers, we're doing a few topics this week right now about seasonality. So this is I'm really impressed with this website, Equity Clock. Yes, it gives you a total roadmap of exactly when to look for bottoms. And lo and behold, I don't know whether you can see, there are a lot of seasonal bottoms that are all coming in here. Really great analogy. Take this picture of the whole idea of buy when it snows, sell when it goes. The seasonal window is setting itself up. So if you do buy stuff, understand this is probably a pretty good time for you to get really focused. Unfortunately, a lot of people in the public, they wait for things for their retirement plans and savings, government incentivized savings programs. they wait until then to do their investments, and usually they've missed the boat. That's like April, May, right? When they actually feel like they're rich and they're loaded, but usually the market's bid up by then. You notice like TSX goes into June, but you can see here S&P goes into, what does that say, May. Russell 2000, right, goes into May. You remember last year with Bitcoin and all that, right? I mean, literally, let's see if you guys, when did the market top, and what is our rule about somebody's birthday? Somebody says, I like the gold fractal from 1980s on current BTC daily chart. Oh, interesting. Anyway, so the rule is if it's around my birthday, May 11th, get the fuck out. Just sell, walk away, take profits, go away. And had you done that last May on the corn and dog money and all that nonsense, you would have been well served. So anyway, go figure. Okay, so I guess that's it for the questions from the students. Hopefully they're feeling like they're getting good value for the money that they've hard spent. A couple sort of, most of my charts look absolute like mess right now, especially when we go through a long prolonged period of a trading range. You get more and more and more lines and lines and lines and lines and stuff, and it gets a little bit convoluted. So here's just a brand new simple chart. Let's just, simple, keep it simple. So we just had a new high. Did put in a little bit of an M top here, so not a big surprise. When market's smiling at you, you probably should take a pause. Did you short that? I actually had a cute little short setup. I think it was a weekend or two ago that I tried to demonstrate. It got stopped out at a small profit, but it turns out actually that probably isn't a bad idea to be thinking down here. I did have some of the TRI OGers, getting a little bit cheeky, going, well, don't short a bull market. Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, hell, there's money to be made on this, but I think we're still in a bull. There's money to be made in this, but we're still in a bull. So, that's really up to you and your trading plan. I think new people to trading, new people to investing, set yourself up for success, work down like a hierarchy. Yeah, like the monthly chart, what's the price structure here off the monthlies? Clearly pointing up. What's the price structure off of the weeklies? Still pointing up. We were pointing down there back in the spring, but I think we've turned around and started pointing back up again. So you want to limit yourself to just hunting longs? Okay. Does that mean that that's a long right there? I don't think so. I do love the idea, and of course we had great people on the site in the past. They've learned how to become really good traders. And if that means they're basically ready to move on in life and do other things, I can accept that. It hurts me because I get emotionally involved with all you people, and as a result, this is technically a business, and then you got like emotional attachments, and anyway, it is what it is. So, we had people that were able to step up and load up through these reload zones. This is where I think, if you wanted to invest in something like Bitcoin, I think you had beautiful windows down in here. Up here, you're coming late. You really are. And here's the problem, right? Is could the asset continue to move higher? Sure. Market can do any old damn thing it wants. Relatively speaking, like these people here that came in here, that's just even there up to here is like a 10x. Is it likely for you to come in here at 50, 60 G's and see a 10x? That would be up into sort of $500,000. Maybe if you have like a 5 to 10 year time horizon. But I don't think that this kind of opportunity is still here. I think that that's an old story. So, interestingly, right, we're all right now stressed about what the heck these bankers and these money people are doing to our currencies and what the base value of them are and all that kind of stuff. That's what's driving this right now. Is that like a good background to make a good solid investment in this world? Not really. This almost feels like right now we're trying to ride the wave of an earthquake. And, people who are like, oh, yeah, you can trade this, make tons of money off this kind of stuff, come in here. Okay, you're trying to surf the earthquake right now. And, as long as you stay up on top of your board, right, Shartoshi, you do pretty well. Is it easy to do? I don't think so. Is this low risk? No way. And probably my hunch is probably 80-90% of the public that does come in here and try to sort of outsmart the smarties, they're going to lose money. I think it's that simple. So how the heck this plays out, I don't know. But usually they say that, they. I think I'm the only one that says it, but maybe other people do too. Bitcoin can't really end a move without some sort of absolutely insane blow off top. I've seen this so many. Now I've been playing this silly game now for a better part of 10 years. And every single move is some sort of insane blow off top that just takes prices to astronomical levels, and everybody's just left going, ooh, oh, right? I mean, this kind of thing. Even here, I wasn't in the space. I came into the space through here and watched this happen. And then, of course, 20 grand Bitcoin and CME event and all that. Interestingly enough, I think, and I kind of said this to you before, the one that I think is going to do the most parabolic damage this cycle is going to be Ethereum. Interesting. Look how that tapering off of the volume here. Very, very suspicious. Is that the end of that move? I would have thought that we were, 4-year cycles, that kind of stuff. But, this is one of these, and you're probably not going to like me saying this, but it just is the way it is. This is one of these sort of strong opinions loosely held. My opinion is that we're doing something along these lines. I don't know what the hell this looks like into the end of the move, but it could be just absolutely insane. So there is the Ethereum move so far. And relatively speaking, that's what we got staring us in the face here. And you can see that these few bars here before the insane parabolic move, there's a bit of volatility in there. Do we see that kind of volatility here in price over the next couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month? Chopping back and forth here, and then some sort of absolutely insane blow-off top move to the upside? It wouldn't surprise me. So, I have heard some people say that they're thinking that this cycle will actually go on well into the new year and might even go on into the spring. That's definitely possible. I'm certainly not going to put a fork in this and call this thing done. I do like the idea, of course, spoon feeding as the market moves its way higher, and something like an Ethereum here, for example. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Oh, goodness. Let's see, where's my Ethereum chart? I gotta be proud of this, man. I mean, this is what I try to teach these people to do, each and every one of you. So, pretty proud of the fact that I did it myself. Where are we here? Oh, excuse me. There we go. So I stepped in, forced myself to buy a Mountain Man, let half go at 3,400, and my next sell order, which you all should probably be like, okay, no big deal. My next double level's up here at about 6,800 or so. So that's where I'll be looking to sell some more Ethereum. And if we do that climb up top. Based off that other chart, well, that's basically, I'm just going to be selling into the rally. I don't know how this looks, but my hunch is if we can get off another double off in here, right, 6,800, I guess, if I'm lucky, I think I'll be able to get another double level off at about 24.20 or 12.5, somewhere in that area. I like that thinking. So I like the idea that there's still 2 more doubles ahead of me here. What the hell Bitcoin does? Oh goodness. I think I told you my personal plan here, especially for Liam, because I really would like to try and buy him a house and just get that done. And if I can do that, then maybe I can actually think about doing things like taking on. We have this really cool idea where Zach's got this piece of property in Hawaii. If I can raise some money, we can develop it. We can sell off part of the land, and then we create this sort of not-for-profit entity that has basically a free sort of 5 acres of land over there in Hawaii. And I think I've told you before, what I'd love to do is just go around the world, and if I see somebody who just hasn't had a good life, off to Hawaii you go. You just hang out there until you relax and get your shit together, and maybe here's $500 to learn what we do, and you can turn it into hundreds of thousands of dollars and go off and get back to living again. So that's my big dream. Obviously, you can't push a chain. So if it happens, great. It was meant to be. Let's see if anybody of you remember. I was about to change my name to Sedona Euphoria when Doge was threatening to go absolutely stupid there a year or so ago. So I'll make you a deal. If this happens, if we sell off Liam's coins, to get him the house and get him nice and set up into the new year, and we can go ahead with Sebastian's NFT project to launch this not-for-profit. I will, on the day that we pull this off, I'll change my name to Sedona Euphoria. And you all will officially have to call me that for the rest of your lives. SE. So there you go. The gauntlet has been cast. Now, I don't know. Like I said, Mr. Cohen, I think his name is, over on YouTube, and I think I tweeted out his video, so please feel free to go watch that. He thinks this might go on into well into the new year, that this cycle might just drag on into like the spring. I have no idea. I have no clue. And my job is not to predict the future. I can tell you that absolutely. If anything, you're going to hate me for saying this, but my job is to show you these goddamn key reversal signals and encourage you to consider joining our website to get these signals in your email on a daily basis. I gotta tell you, man, this signaling. Actually, this is the new page, the old page, and Stuart has to move it over, so he's working away on that. But man, I love this thing. This is going to be my big push here. I absolutely love this, and I want everybody on the site to have this report every single day. We're just going to trade off it, and the great part about it is you can see whether it be things like stock market, whether it be Canadian stocks, whether it be crypto. This thing is just the shit. I'm so stoked about this. In fact, I think somebody even was asking about EGLD there the other day. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, Jesus H. Christ. Look at that, eh? Boom. Look at that volume. So, actually, it'd be interesting just to see. What was that? That was, oh, geez, that's recent too. So, I don't know what it's done today. Probably come back down to earth. But, man, I love this. This engine Stuart's built. So Stuart and I actually had a really cool meeting yesterday, and really we got this pretty much solidified. Everybody should be able to get this report now shortly. These dashboards, and I tell you, man, there's so much money to be made on these. It's fascinating how you guys. I've been telling you guys in the public about how I just absolutely hate the Canadian banks and what the Canadian banks have done to our society here. So I thought it was fascinating that, I did have just an absolutely killer signal. I don't know how to show you this on here. I don't know whether this will work. This will be interesting to see. Does the system. Let's see what comes up here. Whoops, no, that's not going to work. I had a really cool signal, but I don't know if this is working yet. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, so I can't do that. But it is a good visual demonstration of signals that have come in. I haven't figured out. Stuart and I are gonna have to figure out how you actually enter in symbols. So that's not really that big of a deal. What I just wanted to show you was key reversals. So actually, I think it was down in the States, down here. Key reversals. Mind you, this is going back, so I don't know whether it would still be in here. No, because remember. So it had to reset the system. But anyway, I'll show you just here. Back in the summertime, I got all excited about it. And remember I said, I don't. Some people were coming on the site recently and going, I want to short NVIDIA. And I'm like, ooh, you want to short NVIDIA? That's the last thing in the world I want to short. Because, I mean, that's all metaverse and that's all like sweet spot of the market. Short the Canadian bank stocks because these things... I think that they're a train wreck just waiting to happen. And this one here, the system spat up a nice outside downside key reversal signal in the middle of this was the May seasonal correction. And I mean, gee whiz, is that the kind of stuff? That's the kind of information you guys want, isn't it? So this is what I really want to sell to you guys. Now, it's interesting how, gee whiz, we've gone and put in an Empire top up here, actually right at a harmonic level. Quite surprising. Hey, look at that, right at 113. Ridiculous. So it's just interesting to see how in Canada, the system there, it wants you hitting that CIBC. And look at that. Beautiful. I think I tweeted out recently, we had a nice outside-downside key reversal there in May crude oil recently. Beautiful signal. I did this. I did this before. I got trapped in 2021 contract. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. Look at that signal. Oh, my sexy sex. So, I mean, this is what I really want all of you. I want to sell this to you guys. I mean, double top, outside downside key reversal, top end of the range. I mean, just out of curiosity, let's do our poll. Every single damn video I'm going to do this because I want to see you people jump. But what do we say? How often do you have to be right just to be a scratch trader in this business? And our number one job, just to get going at this, if you fancy yourself a trader, is just make damn sure you don't lose money. Just be a scratch trader. So what's the number, all you people on YouTube? Oh, thanks, Ryan. You're a sweetheart. Anyone? Excellent, Jonathan. I love to hear that. Good. All right. You had to go over there just somebody typed it in over there. Oh, you're great. Hey, there they go. All right, so they're still a little bit delayed. Anyway, like seriously, people, learn this. Please, 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 please learn this, right? Your number one job here, of course, is to make sure you can come back and play the game again tomorrow. If you trade setups, and the setup says that if I'm right, I get paid $2, but if I'm wrong, I lose $1, then you only have to be right 33% of the time just to be a scratch trader. Your job is just to make sure you can survive. So even if you're right only a third of the time, you're never going to get a job on Wall Street being right a third of the time. But I think it's very doable. Everybody can be right a 33% of the time. And it means you're wrong a lot. But you're not losing any money. And that's pretty darn good. Then you start actually just getting to the point where, you know what, my forecast, I'm right 50% of the time. Toss of the coin. It's not really any better than a coin toss, but the important thing here is you get paid $2 when you're right. You lose $1 when you're wrong. You do the math. I'm not even that good. I'm only right 50% of the time. and you still make money. That's the key to this, folks. Can't drive that home enough. You get up into that 60-70% win rate, and you're forcing yourself to make at least $2 every time you're right and lose $1 when you're wrong, and you now are Mr. Man. You are the man. People on Wall Street will come to you, beg you to manage money. So, I don't know whether you can learn that or not. Anyway, point of the matter here is key reversals. I swear, just even taking the damn key reversal signal and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna like take the loss and walk away if the key reversal top is broken here on this, but I'm gonna force myself to wait for at least twice the size. And it's pretty simple. Doesn't have to be rocket science, right? We can go boobity boo. And then just do some extensions. So there's 200%. That's 1. But I'm just going to double that. So we'll go to, say, 3. Boom. So I'm going to short this. I'm going to force myself that if it goes up top here and breaks this high, I'm going to walk away. But I'm not going to take profits unless I see 69.5 traded. It's just that simple. That's a trader's life. It's really that simple, guys. The interesting thing here is that most of you that work with me should know pretty much exactly where this thing's going. And I could actually do a number of different little things. We could do things like WD Gann. WD Gann says that we should see 50% retracement. Hello. Do you think that's an accident? I don't think so. Or we could do something like that Sharktoshi guy says that these darn gaps, they seem to get filled quite often. About how often do they get filled? Especially this one, because it's wide open. There isn't even a tail. At least this one has a bit of a tail in there. But let's just even go with that. I mean, that's wide open gap. How often does that get filled in? So now you can actually start going, there's a pretty good statistical odds that this thing is going to trade back into that level. Maybe you watch our Wednesday shows and that sexy little guy from Florida. Something about Benkoff checks. Whoa, gee whiz. That's in that level. So once and then more horizontal support and resistance, you go, well, actually, that's a battle level. Why don't we make that a little minor one? So something like that. And this is a battle level. And this is a battle level. And oh, gee whiz, now we're starting to actually, get what we call a cluster of reasons for the market to trade down into that area. So the point of the matter here is, even if this proved to be right, only a coin toss, 50%. That's the way you make money from trading here, folks. If you want to live the life of a trader. You just got it in there, take the goddamn setups, live with the results, force yourself, take 2 to 1. At least, the irony of this one, you want to see something really cool about this? Check this out. Theoretically, we're supposed to, Mr. WD Gann just simply says you're supposed to take 52-week range and do 50% rules. So there is like September, October. Where's the 52-week range low? Well, it's that low right there in October, right? That's a year ago. We could probably even start to move up. September. Oh, what a coincidence. That's Wyckoff check area there. But even if we just sort of drag it up here, notice where that 50% level is. And I actually think that there's a pretty good case to be made. The price probably should come back down into this area. This looks like the trafficy area as far as I'm concerned. And probably the interesting thing is if we do foggy boggies, I bet you that lines up to like 2.618. Survey says boom. Oh, way up there. Okay. Well, so it looks like we're going after these lows in here. And then if things really do puke out, 4.669's basically a test of these lows down in here. Interesting gap. Oh, look at that. There's a little bit of, well, actually, yeah, that looks pretty clean. So, yeah. Supporting evidence, I don't know. What I would say here, though, is a pretty good example of all we did was we just looked at the key reversal and just gauged risk. And is this a trade where it's even realistic to get a 2-to-1 risk reward? And I think so. I think it is. It's not outlandish. Anyway, okay, so back to our story. Bitcoin is looking heavy. I mean, it's fascinating how there is just a regular, no adjustment, M2 money supply. This is gonna drive me crazy. So if I go, well, I guess it isn't as pronounced. Yeah, quite a bit higher. So interesting how this recent repo that they did just a week or two ago, it clearly has had some sort of effect here. Anyway, when you come in on the buy side there, no. I would say, this is a weekly price chart, so you can see they've set up a nice little tail low here. Probably, I don't know how this is going to finish. Interesting as somebody I saw on YouTube made a reference again. The volumes look very anemic here. Something just doesn't smell right about this. So do we need maybe like a nice flush out or maybe even a big stop run to the upside to get more participation into the market here? I don't know. I would say as it stands right now, any signals that you're seeing, I guess we're going to finish this week down here like this. This is going to be kind of like a bearish impetus breakout here as we're sort of breaking these highs. That high there on the week was 22,000. Here we're at 21. So, and this was 21.3. So 21.7, and that was 22.4. So we have broken this high. So that is higher. Bears are not falling asleep here. That's for sure. Then the question ultimately is are the bears actually waking up and starting to roar? I think if anything, when I look at this, what I see is kind of like almost like a 5-bar fractal, really. So that low, that high, so that low. If this is a 5-bar fractal, then we would like to see like one more candle here. And then the fail through that low next week would be the sell signal. This could be a nice little 3-bar fractal. Again, we're probably going to finish here. Beep, right? And then if we go down and start probing down below, and you start to see the momentum rolling over and the bears are picking up steam, then that's probably going to put a top in price. As you can kind of see here, this 3-bar, boom, boom, boom. We may just beep, open up, and this thing just never goes through the lows, right? Maybe it looks like that. Something like that. And if we can get up through the high here, then this actually becomes a fractal to the upside in the coming week over here. So, yeah, not really a buy signal, not really a sell signal, just sort of floundering here. I also say too, I think we're all sort of searching for direction here. You look at things like the S&P 500. I gotta get going here soon. So, path is least resistance is up. The money printing machine. I think stocks, all they really want to do is just stay equal. So as a result, their prices are just going to keep getting bid up. And I think the same thing with Bitcoin. If we have to have another one of these massive $1 trillion repo stimulus kind of things to keep the Fugazi going, then I think you can start seeing Bitcoin start ratcheting higher. And actually something that's I think is a little bit of a leading indicator here is we notice that things like lumber we're starting to pick back up here again. So let's keep an eye. There's good old lumber. It's getting ready to go. So last year, when everybody was freaking out about housing prices exploding higher, lumber was going absolutely nuts. And oh boy, here we go again. So let's see what they've got in store for lumber here. It seems to be an outlier because, you know, if lumber's moving higher and people are building lots of buildings, then we should expect copper to be moving higher here as well. It doesn't really look too exciting. You know, it is quite uppy. And then, you know what pisses me off, man? I was so bullish on cotton last year. It's ratcheting higher. It's moving higher. So, and then also notice coffee. Coffee's ratcheting higher. You know what's a market that I really do like right now? And actually, I think I'd like to move down there, but it might be really difficult. Is I kind of like the Brazilian real down in here. The only problem is I don't know how to see this. Is that it? L? Oh, I didn't know it was L. So, I don't know. Call me crazy, but that looks very, very cheap. Brazilian real futures. I don't know. If this thing can get turned back up, like I said, if the coffee price can get going in earnest, and the capital stock of Brazil gets going in earnest, right? We get trickled down at economics, all that kind of fun talk. Maybe we can get things going. I did hear, though, recently, though, that the world's going to shit on Brazil if it keeps cutting down all the rainforest. So maybe the Brazilians are going to be like, fine, you want it? You want to make sure that the trees stay there? You have to give us a cash payment for every single tree, and we will not cut it down if you go and buy the tree. I could see that happening, believe it or not. Maybe we're a bit late to come in on that coffee bull, but wow, that sure looks interesting. And I don't know, total contrarian. But it's usually the contrarians. They're the ones that actually make the big bucks in this world. So I do find it interesting that Brazilian real looks the way that it does. That's, you know, to me, that's a kind of a market that I'd be willing to come in and step in and take a shot off of. Like, maybe what ends up, you know, hunt for like cute little W. Maybe you get a bit of a rally here, you know, a nice seasonal rally, you know, in a year or so, which gives you that window to establish that risk-free trade and just get that look, right? And then if you got the look, then maybe if the thing goes absolutely insane, maybe you make a pile of money. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. I'm thinking maybe like Brazilian real futures. I don't really, or an ETF, beg your pardon. Brazilian real ETF. Does that even exist? US stock. So something along these lines. I'm gonna be looking into this. I kind of like the idea of buying like a really long dated call option here and seeing if I can capture a bit of that. Because I'll tell you, man, just like oh man, I go through this. It's ridiculous. Like I did it on the damn cotton a year or two ago. It's like, oh, that cotton's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Right. I mean, I would argue that this Brazilian real should probably trade back to like that 40, 41 cent. And actually, that would make sense. You can see a horizontal support right in there. There's money to be made somewhere in here. I just don't know what it looks like. So anyway. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Answered all the questions. Hopefully, I gave you a nice little pitch on joining the site and participating in our key reversal screener. I mean, I think this is just the shit. Should make us a lot of money. Not only the signals making us money, but if I am worth half my weight in market sort of knowledge and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Salesman savvy. I should be able to sell a ton of people to this subscription service. We're not going to ask for a lot of money to start off, but I would like to see a lot of people on the site sign up for it. And basically, I'm going to be doing like daily briefs just pretty much right off of these screens. So I just want everybody to have this along with me. So anyway. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the rant at that. Got to go get pretty for the boy. Got to tell you, every time you guys ask me, no, I don't like the Brazilian coffee. I think it's already gone. The price of coffee is already gone. I do like the idea of the Brazilian real, though. I do like that option. So that's just me. So and terrible, I should not have interrupted that. The most important part of this whole damn video. I get the great privilege to go and be with my special needs son for a good, 3-4 hours twice a week and just spend good quality time with him. And I gotta say, like since JoJo's passing, I have spent more quality time with Liam than my father spent with me. I think probably the time that I spend with Liam, just our Thursday and Sunday days, would equate to the entirety of my entire life of time that I spent with my old man. So the one interesting side effect of JoJo's passing is that Liam and I are very, very close. I had to miss a Thursday visit there the other day, and it just broke my heart. But he was so happy when I came the following Sunday because we missed the Thursday, and he was just jonesing for me. And, oh, God, it just filled my heart. And I even asked that day, okay, everybody give me best wishes and stuff. And he was in such a beautiful frame of mind, and everything was set up to support him really well and stuff. And it's so touching. So, please understand, everybody, that's my number one motivation and my number one priority out of all of this was to make sure that Liam is well served. I have to give a really big shout out, and any of you that live in the Lower Mainland and stuff, Community Living Services, CLS, and I probably should get like a charity and donation stuff going. I know Sjord's got a charity donation side of the Luna story. Guys like Nacho Don, if you could do me a solid and let's start setting up that charity donation kind of thing to help the organizations like that officially through your like Luna operation. I think that's a really good idea. You guys have all individually, and I love it for you. You guys, hugs and kisses, have helped Liam out himself. I don't really like the shill, so I'm not going to promote it, but I've shown you guys before. Go back and watch the other videos. I think I put the address to his donation page in the last week's video, so go and check that out. Love you guys for that, and like I said, if we get that blow off top, then Brian will use those funds that you donated to Liam to get him a house, and he'll have to go and change his name. Great. What have I done? I did it again. Gonna be talking lots about this. Basically, I'm gonna be using this as my chalkboard for working on the site going forward. And I think, ironically enough, if I do this right, I should be able to sell a lot of people on this product. I think it's good value. It will make a difference in your trading and giving you ideas to think about. So that's my challenge going forward. Super excited about the opportunity finally. So super excited. So keep your eyes peeled for that. School program, great to see everybody humming along. Level 3ers, we're going to actually be transitioning to Zach actually being the instructor for the level 3 program coming up here in the winter, and I'll be his TA. So you guys got to forward to look at that. But I have to say the lectures I've done this term, which we're going to use as sort of the template going forward, I'm actually pretty impressed with the job that I've done myself. It's going to be a really interesting growth experience, both for Zach and for myself going forward there. I have to start trying to let go a little bit out of the whole school thing. So it's great to see Grim doing his thing, Karan doing his thing. Now Zach's going to be doing his thing. and probably Brian started in on his what are you saying there, Josh? Josh, does that say hourly bullish signal? Oh no, actually we'll be removing this. This is an algo that we've been working on. In fact, off of this signals page, the only thing that'll actually be on here are the actual signals. That's the only thing that'll be on this page. So like I said, just keep an eye out for this. As soon as it's ready to rock and roll, we'll go. But for the time being, Sjord is working very diligently. He's working very hard. I think he's doing an excellent job. Just slow and steady wins a race. And like I said, never been closer. So close, so close. All right. Yeah, man, you guys, wow. In fact, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a look at this in the daily brief tomorrow? And let's further this discussion. Obviously, clearly, I've triggered you guys on this. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but if people want to add to the equation why one looks one way and one looks another way, I think we definitely have to revisit this tomorrow morning. All right. Okay, everybody, I hope you got some value out of all this. Always a pleasure and a privilege speaking with all of you. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't remember what your number one job is. Thank you very much for your best wishes for me and Liam today. So I got to go off and get pretty. So I think we'll leave it at that. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. PMA for the win. All the best. And bye for now.